While the retail market focused on daily index fluctuations, institutional capital quietly initiated a massive reallocation phase out of highly valued emerging market equities. The sharp correction in the Sensex and Nifty FIFT on July 8 was not an isolated event. It represents a deeper structural risk repricing across the global financial system. As valuations hit historically stretched levels, professional portfolio managers are actively reassessing their exposure to high-beta emerging market assets. This is a critical transition point for global capital looking for safety in a volatile macroeconomic environment. Understanding these underlying structural dynamics is absolutely essential for long-term capital preservation. To understand the vulnerabilities of the Indian market, we must first analyze the core construction of its primary indices. The Nifty FIFT and the Sensex are heavily concentrated, with financial services and energy giants carrying a disproportionate weight. Major market constituents like Reliance Industries and HDFC Bank alone dictate a massive portion of daily index movements. When these structural heavyweights experience a shift in momentum, the entire market landscape feels the impact immediately. This high concentration creates a systemic index vulnerability, often masking the underlying corporate health of the broader mid and small cap segments of the economy. This structural index concentration is only part of the story. Historically, Indian equities have traded at a significant valuation premium compared to other major emerging markets. This premium has been justified by strong domestic demand, demographic tailwinds, and robust earnings visibility. However, when global liquidity tightens, maintaining these high multiples becomes increasingly difficult for institutional capital to justify. Portfolio managers are beginning to question whether this valuation premium has reached an unsustainable limit. Even a minor contraction in corporate earnings growth could trigger a massive, market-wide valuation reassessment across key sectors. Here is where the corporate financial metrics become highly interesting. When we look at the recent quarterly performance of market leader Reliance Industries, we see clear signs of margin compression. The company's traditional autochemicals segment has faced intense headwinds from weaker global refining margins and volatile crude feedstock prices. While its retail and digital segments continue to show robust organic growth, they are not expanding fast enough to completely offset this heavy commodity drag. This pressure on the consolidated operating margin is forcing analysts to revise their full-year earnings expectations downward. The next signal comes from the banking sector, particularly HDFC Bank, which acts as the financial anchor of the index. Following its massive corporate merger, the institution is navigating a highly complex balance sheet integration phase. The bank's loan-to-deposit ratio remains elevated, creating persistent structural pressure on net interest margins. To fund credit growth, the bank must compete aggressively for high-cost retail deposits in a tight liquidity environment. This ongoing adjustment limits near-term profitability and dampens return on asset metrics, restraining the entire financial sector's upward trajectory. That leads us directly to the technology sector, where management commentary from Infosys and TCS offers crucial global macroeconomic insights. Both companies have highlighted a persistent slowdown in discretionary IT spending across their core markets in North America and Europe. Global enterprise clients are prioritizing short-term cost optimization deals over large-scale, multi-year digital transformations. This shift in spending patterns means corporate revenue growth guidance remains highly conservative. While operating margins are being defended through rigorous cost control, top-line growth acceleration remains elusive for the foreseeable future. Now look at how these management teams are adjusting their corporate execution strategies. Across major Indian conglomerates, the strategic focus is shifting from aggressive capital expenditure toward balance sheet preservation. Reliance Industries is actively managing its leverage profile while selectively investing in green energy initiatives with long gestation periods. In the technology sector, companies like TCS are returning excess cash to shareholders through buybacks rather than pursuing risky international acquisitions. This conservative approach to capital allocation indicates that corporate leadership is preparing for a prolonged period of macroeconomic uncertainty. This brings us to the broader global macroeconomic environment and the industry forces at play. The primary driver behind the recent foreign institutional capital flight is the divergence in central bank policies. As the U.S. Federal Reserve signals a cautious approach to cutting interest rates, U.S. Treasury yields remain highly competitive on a risk-adjusted basis. This dynamic significantly reduces the relative appeal of riskier emerging market assets. Institutional investors are executing a clear capital rotation, shifting funds back to developed markets where risk-adjusted yields are exceptionally attractive. But there is a unique domestic counterweight to this institutional capital flight that we must analyze. Indian mutual funds continue to see record-breaking monthly inflows through systematic investment plans, driven by a rising domestic retail class. This resilient domestic liquidity has repeatedly absorbed foreign selling pressure over the past year. However, domestic capital alone cannot sustain extended valuation multiples indefinitely if foreign institutional selling intensifies. If foreign portfolio investors continue their aggressive selling streak, the market's domestic buffer could begin to show signs of fatigue, accelerating the correction phase. The next major headwind is regulatory, and it directly affects credit expansion. The Reserve Bank of India has taken proactive steps to curb systemic risks in the financial sector. By increasing risk weights on unsecured retail loans, the central bank is deliberately cooling down high-risk credit growth. This regulatory tightening directly impacts banking profitability and limits loan book expansion for major lenders. Additionally, regulatory scrutiny on retail derivatives trading is designed to reduce speculative volumes. While these measures protect long-term financial stability, they inevitably damp short-term market momentum and speculative liquidity. Beyond domestic regulations, external commodity cost pressures remain a constant threat to corporate margins. India's heavy reliance on imported crude oil makes its fiscal health highly vulnerable to global energy shocks. Persistent geopolitical tensions in the Middle East threaten to disrupt shipping lanes and elevate transportation costs. Higher oil prices expand the current account deficit and put downward pressure on the Indian rupee against the US dollar. For import-dependent corporations, this currency depreciation translates directly into rising input costs, squeezing gross margins across manufacturing sectors. Where does this leave our long-term structural investment thesis for the Indian market? We are entering a crucial phase of valuation reassessment, where quality and balance sheet strength are prioritized over speculative growth. The market is shifting its focus from high-multiple growth stories to companies with resilient margins and strong cash conversion. Sectors with domestic policy tailwinds, such as infrastructure and defensive pharmaceuticals, are likely to show significant relative strength. Meanwhile, highly valued consumption segments without clear earnings visibility must remain on a strict trim consideration. As we monitor this correction, our tactical focus is on identifying high-quality franchises with long-term structural moats. We are placing top-tier financial and technology names on a close breakout watch, waiting for market capitulation to create attractive, long-term entry points. For our premium community at SR Money News, We will continue to track these institutional capital flows and macro indicators. If you want to navigate this changing market landscape with institutional grade research, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications. Share your thoughts in the comments on where you are allocating capital.